Alright, so this video is going to explain the incomplete process in Canvas. Now, there's a lot of things going on right here. We're basically going to break this down into two things. The first is very simple, and that is you have students and your entire course you need to extend it for a couple of weeks. The most common thing here is you've got some lab work, some clinical, something like that. So instead of the course ending on June 5th, let's say you're going to extend it for 3 weeks to June 26th. So we'll talk about how to do that. The other thing is a more traditional incomplete where most of your class completed the course and you've got a student or a group of students and you need to have them take an incomplete in the course and then be able to work in that course shell. So those are the two things that we want to work on. I'm making large assumptions here that you've figured out what you're doing, you've cleared everything with your dean. If it's incomplete, you've signed paperwork, so that all has nothing to do with this. I can assume you've taken care of that already and are ready to go into Canvas. So the first scenario is actually the simplest one by far, and that is the one we talked about first. You've got an entire class. Everybody's at the same place. You've done, let's say, 80% of the coursework, but you've got that 20% of lab or clinical or hands-on work-based experience, something like that, and you just simply need to have this course go for 3 weeks longer so that your students have the ability to finish the course. That's actually really simple. You go into your course, you click on Settings, make sure you're on the Course Details tab, and you'll notice this is the spring course. There may or may not be a date here, but you simply type in a new date or use the calendar selected. So the first day of the quarter was March 30th and the last day of the quarter is June 5th. We're going to extend it out, let's say, for 2 weeks to June 19th. All right, and then here's the key. Underneath this, there's a box that we check that says students can only participate in the course between these dates. You must click that box, otherwise this process won't work. So we put the starting date, we put the ending date. You have to put both in. Canvas doesn't like it a lot if you only put one of the two in. So put the starting date, the ending date, click the students can only participate in the course between these dates, and then click on Update Course Details. And that's it. So now the course is going to end on June 19th instead of June 5th. Very important, the last point, and that is that these courses, all the courses are going to convert to read-only on June 11th, the day after the instructor briefcase closes. So if you're going to do this, please make sure you do it before June 11th. Do it before the instructor briefcase closes, because if you don't, then the course will become read-only. You won't be able to change anything, and we're going to have to do it, and we're going to get a whole bunch of emails asking us to go in and do that. So please do that before the 11th when the briefcase closes. Okay, so that was the simple one. Again, you've got a course. You need to extend it by 2 weeks. Boom, that's it. We're done. Okay, now the second thing we want to show you is a more traditional incomplete. That's where some of the students have finished the course, but you've got a student or a group of students who still need more time. Okay, now we do incomplete. Some people say, hey, can't I just take these people and enroll them in summer, put them in my summer shell? Please don't do that. There's a lot of reasons. First, it gets messy. You're trying to calculate their grade over 2 quarters, but more importantly, that's a FERPA violation. If you take people who aren't registered for a course and put them in a course, that is a FERPA violation. So what we want to do instead of that is keep everybody in that spring quarter, and we're going to create a special section called incomplete, and we're going to extend that section and put your students into that section. Okay, so it'll make sense in a second as we walk you through. Again, I'm going to assume that you've cleared everything with registration or whoever you need to. The students have a signed contract in place, and now we're ready to go and create that incomplete section. So again, we click on Settings, and this time we're going to click on that Sections tab. And you'll notice if you look at here, every single student and you are placed in a section that is called whatever the course is called. So in this case, everybody is placed in a section called Tim's Practice Course. So we're going to create a new section and call it Incomplete or Incompletes. All right, we click on Add Section, and that's now added a section to our course called Incomplete. Click on this link. So we want to open up the section here that we just created. You'll notice it's empty. Don't worry about that. And we click on Edit Section over here to the right. Okay, and the key thing we need to do is the same thing we did in that other screen. We're going to create a new start and end date for just this section. So it started at March 30th, but now this one's going to end. Let's say you've got students, you're going to give them a full quarter. And I forget when the quarter ends, but let's say it's August 7th. You give them a full quarter to finish their work. And again, we have to click on this. Students can only participate in the course between these dates. You have to click on this or it doesn't work. So again, starting date, end date, click on the students can only participate, and click on update section. Okay, and now we've got a section called incomplete. If we go back, you don't have to do this, but if you go back to settings, you'll see it's here. Again, you'll see 0 users. Don't panic. We're going to do the last step right here, which is click on people to get your roster. And now we look through your course and find the student who's going to get the incomplete. In this case, it's Zippy Pinhead. And all we do is we go over here to the right. We click on Edit Section because we want to put them in a new section. And where it says enter the section name, you start typing in incomplete, and it will actually autofill for you. So you click on it and then click on update. And now what you'll see is our student Zippy Pinhead here is still enrolled in the section called Tim's previous course, which is about to end, but they're also enrolled in the section called incomplete. And again, the benefit of that is they stay in the same course, they keep the same grades, they keep the same work, they just now have an additional 3 weeks to work on stuff. The added benefit of this is for the students who finished, the course is locked to them. It's read only, so you're only giving access to one student to go in and submit, post discussions, all of that sort. Okay, so I realize that might have been confusing. We tried to go through all of it as quickly as possible. So as always, if you've got questions or want some clarification on something, shoot us an email, olc@batestech.edu, and we'll be happy to help you.